Hello, nerds! Thank you for joining me here on Nerd News Clips. This is the second channel. This is the place for all of the short-form content as well as the individual sections and just generally speaking smaller things. If you are into the longer form content, youtube.com/generallynerdy is the place to go see that. With that out of the way, let's get into this. Comic books, and books is the next section. We actually have a fair amount, considering this is one of our smaller sections usually. So first up, we have a follow-up. This is one of those things that released while I was gone. White Knight presents The Red Hood has been released. We talked about this when it was announced. It seems to be getting some pretty high reviews. I have not yet been able to read it, but it is out, and that is our follow-up. So into regular old news, we've got Superman. There's potential spoilers if you're currently reading the Superman books, but I know a fair amount of people aren't by comparison to where we were a few years ago, so just for your edification, it seems that now DC is going to be changing or altering or slightly modifying, I guess is probably a little more accurate, how Superman gets his powers. As it stands right now, for those that probably don't know, though I would imagine most of you do, Superman gets his powers from the yellow sun of Earth. And apparently, I haven't been reading a whole lot of Superman, but apparently he's been losing his powers, and in the most recent episodes of the Infinite Frontier storyline, he basically lost all of them, and then went to a planet that was powered by a red sun, which neutralizes his powers entirely anyway. Now he's going to be getting power from the Genesis energy that was found on the Warworld, where he currently resides in this story arc, and it's apparently going to supercharge his powers because it comes from the multiversal shell. I can't remember the exact terminology, but the thing that keeps the multiverse together is like shards of glass and things, and that's where the Genesis energy comes from. So Superman's about to get a power upgrade, and I don't know how I feel about it. It's probably going to be an interesting situation, though going to be squandered because politics and whatever, but I think that there is a strong possibility that this could be a very interesting read if they do it right. Who knows if they're going to do it right? We'll just have to keep tabs and keep talking about it. So from there, we move into Mark Millar's Millarworld. Nemesis is finally coming back and getting his own book once again. January 2023 is going to see the Millarworld anti-hero, non-hero, he's like a straight-up villain, is going to be getting his own book, and the art, this is super noteworthy, the art is going to be done by Jorge Jimenez, who is fantastic, and you know his work very well from a lot of Batman stuff that he's done, and I'm a big fan of both Mark Millar and Jorge, so I'm definitely going to be checking out Nemesis once it drops in January. And then into the next piece, we are talking about another new book, Sword of Azrael. So Azrael is going to be getting his own book for the first time in since like New 52, I believe. So like a few years back has been the last time Azrael's gotten his own book. 2003, I have it in the notes. 2003 was the last time Azrael got his own book, though this one does come with a little bit of caveat because it is not in the mainline universe. This is going to be in the Arkham Asylum universe that has been continued in the comic books, as we all know and love, because the Arkham Asylum universe is pretty great. I'm a bit of a fan. I have most of those comics. So yeah, Azrael going into his own book. It is on shelves now, issue number 1, and it is going to be, I believe, a weekly book. So go check it out. Name of it, again, Sword of Azrael. That is everything we have for comic books and books. So that brings us to suggestions for comic books. Comic book suggestion for this week is Sandman. Go read Neil Gaiman's Sandman because it's a phenomenal read, on top of the fact that it's one of the most classic stories in comic books ever. And also Netflix is about to roll out with this. So now you can go read the book and then compare the first season of the Netflix show to the first book and see, how you feel about the things that they changed, and we can have that conversation in a much more educated fashion. But either way, great read, Sandman by Neil Gaiman. Once again, this has been just a brief segment from the larger episode that has been posted over on the main channel, youtube.com/generallynerdy. Go over there for the long form content, or just subscribe here if you want it in bite-sized chunks. Thank you very much for joining me, nerds. We'll see you in the next one. Before we go though, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.